Hello everyone, Draj here. Today I'm going to show you a bit into the prayer skill. Now this skill is a good way to get buffs. It's mostly for combat, but now there is actually a few skill uses within this. If you have all the required quests, which in this game, quests are a huge deal. I mean, a lot of games will actually do it where it helps you get into new areas. It helps you get new abilities, just a lot of new content you can do. Now here, I'm in my player-owned house, which there actually is a lot of talk about doing a complete construction overhaul, which is another skill I'll get into. But as of right now, the skill isn't too bad. It's mostly just though for your own personal use. Some people do, however, like to get into another person's house to use their prayer altar. And that's actually why I'm here and what I'm going to be showing you. Because the prayer altar will actually give you a lot more XP for your bones and ashes than as if you were to bury them yourself. See, like the big bones, I believe only give 15 XP. Now, if you have the right burners, the right altar, which I do not, I kept it as a god altar. What you really need to do is have a gilded altar. A gilded altar will actually be the one that gives you the really high XP. So that part I can't really show you that, but it is actually about, I think it's 250% more XP per thing you use on the altar. However, you have to have the right altar, which takes, I believe it's level 79 construction, and you have to have the right incense burners. But it is well worth it unless you are already 99 prayer, which I'm actually 101, which for some people that might not make sense because you hear a lot of this game only going up to level 99. However, in an update not that long ago, they released what is called virtual levels. So those skills that actually don't go past 99, you can display them though as if you went past 99. However, the cap is still 99, if that makes any sense at all. But so it's actually 99 even though it's displaying 101. So as you kill monsters, you'll find that there's different types of bones. Generally, the stronger the creature, the better the bones you'll get. And as far as like demons go, the stronger the demon, the better the ashes you'll get. See, like here you got your accursed ashes, which is kind of like your basic ashes, other than your imp ashes, which is really the weakest of the weak. Regular bones will be the weakest bones you can get. You can get those mostly from killing stuff like goblins and humans and stuff like that. Um, Now, all you have to do to get the XP though is bury it. Now, I have a cosmetic override, which is through the Solomon store, which it looks to me pretty cool. Has absolutely no bonus to it, it just looks better to me. Now, whenever I do bury bones, you'll see that there is bonus XP. That bonus XP comes from, I think it was mostly Treasure Hunter is what it did, but this is bonus XP that's been accumulating on my account for a very long time. As you can see, if I go down here, I have 14 million bonus XP. So there's actually a lot there. It's just, I mostly play on my old Iron Man account, which I actually killed it off because I wanted to start fresh. This way I can kind of give you a little bit of a closer look into what it would be like going from a low level Iron Man to the high level. So when I killed him off, he was about around 2200 into the levels. So he was actually getting very close to the cap level. Now, yes, there's the Gilded Altar. that actually incredibly increases your prayer. This little gadget, the attuned ectoplasmitter. What this does is it will, if you carry it with you while you're fighting ghosts or demons or something like that, the ashes will automatically be used. That means they do not drop, they do not do anything. All they do is they give you straight up XP. And it's actually a good amount of XP. Also, if you're fighting a ghost, the ghost will actually give you XP then for your prayer skill. Normally, the prayer skill does not get XP from ghost unless you have the attuned ectoplasmitter or the regular ectoplasmitter. Blech, regular, yeah, there we go. Now the regular one is dropped from ghosts, so that is the only way to get it. The attuned ectoplasmitter, you take the regular one, the regular ectoplasmitter, and ghosts will actually drop what is called ghostly essence. And here you can see I can check my charges. I have about 2,000 charges left. Now, what that ghostly essence will do, it'll give you the charges for either getting more XP from ghosts or just automatically scattering your ashes. Both very handy. Now there is another tool. You can actually add it to your tool belt, which is actually another handy device that they had updated for the Slayer skill. Now the Slayer skill, you go through it, you complete assignments, you can get points, and you can actually buy stuff to enhance your combat experience, which is very useful. And here you can see some of the tools, but the tool I want to show you for this is the Bone Crusher. This is that item I was talking about in one of my previous videos about how important it is to actually try to get this as soon as possible. Mostly because I'm pretty sure you don't want to be going around killing a bunch of humans and stuff and getting very little prayer XP, but always having to stop to pick up the bones and then bury the bones. Now, as you can see, once you select the settings, if there's bones you want to keep and sell, because some of them do sell for a lot of money, like the Orit bones, they sell for a good amount. Dagannoth can, but then you got your Wyvern, which is used also in prayer. You got Frost Dragon bones, which is a very popular. The Rune Dragon and the Adamant Dragon bones, so I believe are the most popular, which they sell for a large amount. So, I mean, if you do fight these creatures, you can just have that toggled off, and it will not automatically bury those bones for you. You get all the, well, you don't get the XP, but you can just turn around and sell them. Now, just like the bones, when it comes to the ashes, you just click on it, boom, you get the XP. Nothing to it, nothing too fancy about it. Now, there is another way of training for your bones. After you complete, I believe it is called, the quest is Ghosts Ahoy, which is in the Mortania region. But now by completing this, you get access to the Ectofuntus. What you will need is you will need pots, bones, and a bucket. Now this is for one trip only. You'll take your bones, bring them up here. You'll fill the hopper with the bones, use the bone grinder, empty your bin, and then you will have a pot of bones. Bone dust, or whatever bone meal, whatever they want to call it. I forget what they call it exactly. That's also a popular way because if you can get the Wyvern bone meal. Now that is non-tradable, but it is required in a very high level potion, which can be extremely useful, especially with the Herblore skill in the Elven City, because then you can make combined potions, which is really useful. But now the reason why you need the bucket is because you need to climb down here. Now, if you have your shortcuts enabled, if you have a high enough agility level, it is actually very useful. See if I can get my cursor to actually line up on it though. So you can jump down the withered wall. Nice little shortcut. Go down the steps. Go down another set of steps. They did not make this one extremely easy to use, but at the time of release, this was before the Gilded Altars, this actually granted you more XP. But what you would do is you would take your bucket, use it on the pool of slime. With your bucket of slime and your bone meal, you would take those two ingredients, go back up, and then from there, you'd be able to go to the Ectofuntus and actually worship it, granting you XP. Now this is a good way to do it because it does grant more than normal XP. I forget what the exact ratio is. I want to say it's 75% more. So it is extremely useful to do if you want to do it. Because as you can see, even just with me running there instead of actually having the items, using the items, it still takes a decent amount of time versus if you have like the Bone Crusher or the Ectoplasmitter. Well, for this it'd be the Bone Crusher, but if you'd have the Bone Crusher while you're doing a Slayer assignment, while you're fighting the bosses, it can just automatically bury the bones for you. It could automatically scatter the ashes for you, and you would never have to worry about it. You could go at it faster that way. You can just worry about killing everything in sight and not have to worry about constantly stopping to pick up bones or ashes. Now there is one more method for ashes, and that is actually through your crafting skill. You can make, let's see what category this falls. It's going to be under objects. You can make what is called urns. Now, if you have a high enough level, you can get what is called the Infernal Urn. The Infernal Urn, right here, will actually automatically gather ashes for you, but as it does this, it fills up the urn. Then once it's full, you can manually teleport it away, or if you want to, you can go into your settings, and you can go into your miscellaneous settings, and right here, auto teleport current skilling urn when full. This way you don't have to worry about it. You can just click it and keep going. The only thing you have to worry about is if it gets full before the end of your Slayer task, because most likely that's what you're going to be using it with, is your Slayer tasks. Slayer is going to be a big thing in this game. There's actually recent talk of raising the level cap from 99 to 120 for Slayer, but right now that is only being talked about. There's actually no hardcore fact that it will or will not happen. So that is all for prayer. There's not really much to this skill other than it is extremely useful. Now there is different books you can use. Now if you did complete a few of the quests, you can have what's called curses, which is I believe it's called your ancient book. But if you look here, you have a lot of popular ones in here. One of the most popular being Soul Split, because it inflicts damage. Well, as you inflict damage to your target, a portion of that comes back and heals you. Another one is like this one, which is Turmoil. It increases your melee attack strength and defense by a fixed amount, and it also drains your enemy melee attack, strength, and defense. And this increases over time for both. So basically, you can say it as you are stealing their attack, their strength, their defense to add it to your own, which is actually incredibly useful when it comes time for bosses. The only downside to prayers is when you are fighting a boss, a lot of them, even regular monsters now, because of the evolution of combat update, use multiple combat stats. So like right here, if it's using, let's say, melee and magic, I can only protect magic or melee. That is it. Now if you want to be tricky about it, let's say they're using both, you can protect from magic if you're using your melee, because that is going to be a very big deal if you don't, because they will rip right through you. So you can have it so you protect. Now in the curses, it actually deflects a certain portion of the damage back at your attacker while providing you defense. But you can do that, and then if they're still using their melee attacks, you can use the turmoil to automatically drain them as you're doing it. So certain things, yes, you can have multiples open at a time. Others you cannot. And as you can see here, the higher your prayer level, which is 99, the higher the prayer points you have, which the current max is 990. Once it hits 0, you are automatically out of prayer, and there's nothing you can do with prayer. Unless you use something like a prayer potion, or prayer renewal, super prayer, all these kind of potions to restore your prayer points. And there's actually another useful item from what is the skill Dungeoneering, which at a higher level prayer you can use what is called the Demon Horn Necklace. This restores a certain amount of prayer for the different types of bones and ashes you bury or scatter. The higher the level, the more it restores. The most it restores is 150 prayer points. So if you can actually rip through some creatures pretty fast, you don't need to worry about running out of prayer too fast. But if you're doing like I'm currently doing to show you the end result, if you have both of these open, it is draining very rapidly. You're going to run out pretty fast. But if you have just one of these going, it still runs out pretty fast. But if you are doing bosses or creatures in general, and you're just doing one of these and you can rip through them fast, you won't have to worry about it with that necklace. And when something has a prayer bonus like that has, it actually slows the drain of using your prayers. There's many different types of prayers. All are beneficial in some aspect. You don't have them all to start. Some are required by quests. As you level up, you get more and more, which will actually help you understand more and more what you want to do and how you want to do it. So that is all for this episode. Till next time.